It is finally the week that you can pick your free 5-star constellation from the constellation selector. And since I made my last video, there have been numerous changes to the whole landscape of what you should pick. So in this video, we're going to go with my updated tier list best constellations to get for your account. Welcome to Jello Impact, where we build and test every single character to help you decide who you want to wish for and build. The version Luna 2 banners featuring Nefer and Farina are finally here. If you're planning on spending for these or any future banners, let me recommend Loot Bar. I have been personally using Loot Bar for over a year, and I've spent thousands of dollars on my personal account. They are safe, using currency exchange to get you discounts on the crystals you were going to buy anyways. They have tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. They're very easy to use. Just choose the pack you want, enter your UID and region, and your top up is delivered in minutes. New users also get a 10% coupon. New users clicking my link also get access to a $2 Welkin. Returning users get a 5% and 3% discounts. And if you plan on buying currency for Miliastra Wonderland or other games like Honkai Star Rail or Zenless Zone Zero, you can also do that through Loot Bar. It's partnerships like these that allow me to continue bringing the content I do to the channel, as well as supporting my family. So thanks to Loot Bar for sponsoring the video. So first of all, if you're watching this and you already made your selection and you find out that your character is low down, don't worry, you'll get to do this 4 more times throughout this year, so no harm, no foul. As long as you picked a character that you get joy from, honestly, that is a win. But of course, this is a meta-focused channel, so let's focus on that. Which ones are actually going to be worth it? Now, starting with the bottom tier, Eula, Tartaglia, and Yoimiya. These characters have really bad constellations. I know Tartaglia has some quality of life. I don't think it changes enough about him to really be worth it, even for a casual, and because I think he's just so unplayable at a baseline. Kind of the same thing with Eula and Yoimiya. Yeah, her C1 doesn't do anything, and her other constellations are not good either. These really are cope for future buffs, and I mean this in an actual serious way. I know you should never pull based on future potential. I always say that, but let's say like your very favorite character ever is Eula, and you pick her, and then there is a Knights of Favonius buff in the future that buffs Eula, Jean, Diluc, Mika, Noelle, Barbara, etc. I really think that, you know, we're getting Hex and Circle character buffs. That's one of the big things that is making me make this video again. We're getting Hex and Circle buffs. What if we got Knights of Favonius buffs in the future? What if we got Inazuma faction buffs somehow in the future? And they've already shown, as with Klee, as with Mona, as with Albedo, as with Venti, they can give real buffs to old units, and they will probably. So this is code for future buffs. This is only recommended for the most die-hard fans who know that you're getting nothing. You may never get nothing, but it's even the chance is worth it because you love these characters so much. That's who that's for. Level 100 bait. Now level 100, I've seen 2 things online. I've seen, you know, go for level 100, which I said before, and I've seen level 100 is useless. Level 100 makes a difference. If you play a character and that character actually does damage, getting a 10% increase to that character is a really noticeable increase. Like don't downplay level 100. Now, many people may not be anywhere close to getting any Masterless Stella Fortuna because you need C6 and then C7 of standard characters. But if you are, it is totally still a viable option to go for standard banner characters if you already have a really, really high constellation on one. If you don't have a really high constellation one, I think most of these are not worth it. I know Tighnari, people love Tighnari, and I guess, you know, hey, sure, if you play Tighnari, you might as well get his constellations. It is level 100. You know, hey, why not if you play him? I just think, unfortunately, he didn't get buffed enough by Llama to really be worth it, but we'll put it up there if you play Llama. The other ones, though, you know, their constellations really don't do enough. Even Dia, her constellations don't do enough. So yeah. Next is the not worth it, but it does something, I guess, category. Some people are saying Baiju is amazing. It does give you an extra charge of skill. That does make it easier to build his ER. 2 problems with that. 1, using extra skill is extra field time. And 2, you can just build more ER. I know that's like just get better artifacts moment, but like seriously, you could just build more ER. Like instead of getting a constellation, you could just build more ER. It's like sure, it's annoying to build more ER, but you can just build more ER. So that's what I think for Baiju. Xiao, you know, hey, if you play Xiao, his C1 gives him an extra charge of his skill. That's nice for Stygian Onslaught to front load that energy. I don't think it really has value outside of Stygian Onslaught, but that's pretty nice in for Stygian Onslaught. Ayato is a small damage bump. Sino is a very, 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 very small damage bump, and it changes his combos. Yaimiko, what's this one again? Oh yeah, that's the energy one. Hey, look, I like Yai's burst. You like Yai's burst. If you play Yai, you get a burst a bit more. Hey, that's kind of nice, you know? Kokomi, a little bit more damage. Ganyu, yeah, some more cryo res, some more energy. It's pretty good. Like, it's all right. Like, hey, if you play Ganyu all the time, I mean, that could go up here as well. It's not as, I feel like it's not as impactful as a bunch of these, but yeah, so all of these, basically what I just want to say is, like, these characters, when you get these extra constellations, you can get them all. They'll all do something. So if you play, if you're in the game and you're playing all these characters, this will be something that will be tangible, that you can feel, that will something will happen when you activate this constellation, as opposed to these other ones, which basically nothing will happen. Child, I don't. But these ones are if building to C2. So if you're building to C2, maybe next year they do this again, which they probably will, and you can get another copy of one of these characters, and then you have C2. That could be worth it. So Ayaka has a pretty good C2. It doesn't always work against, depending on the boss, but it has a pretty good C2. Her C1 is really bad. Nilou's actually turned into my favorite character to support Nefer. I didn't have access to any endgame modes, and I was doing my Nefer testing. I know that's really weird, but I didn't. And after playing Stygian Onslaught, I really didn't like playing her with Aino at all, and playing her with Nilou was so much better. So much better. We'll probably do a Nefer post-release video, maybe. But if we do, that's one of the things I'll talk about. And Nilou doesn't need her C1 for this kind of thing. It gives her a bit more uptime, which doesn't really matter. It's okay for like traditional Bloom teams, doesn't matter that much though. And then her C2 is like actually like really big, reducing Hydro and Dendro res for 35%. It's like actually really big. So if you're building towards, I think like Nilou is worth it to build towards C2. Like that's how strong the C2 is. If you like Nilou, like I'm considering getting this, like truly. And then Ito, I don't play a ton of Ito anymore. I've really tried, guys. I don't really like his C1, but it does make his combos a bit easier. And then his C2 is really big for his energy, and he has massive energy issues, which is one of my biggest problems with Ito. So if you're playing Ito, you can totally go for his C2 and work towards his C2 by getting it for free. I think that's a good call. Now, on to the good one. So we already talked about Tighnari. Shenhe. If you're playing Shenhe, I really like her C1. It gives you an extra charge over her skill, which really helps for Stygian Onslaught. So it gives more energy to her, it gives more energy to Escoffier, it gives more energy to Farina, and it really helps. You can get more damage out of it on Ayaka teams. It's not necessary, but you can. And it doesn't really help with damage on Skirk teams, but the energy thing is kind of big because her other supports need energy. So getting an extra charge, if you find yourself using Shenhe, you might as well pick up her C1, and then her C2 is okay as well. So I think Shenhe, not maybe the craziest change out of these constellations, but if you play her a bunch, then I think that's worth it. Wanderer's C1, I'm actually gonna activate Wanderer's C1 because it's free. So we just activated Wanderer's C1. He gets more attack speed, he gets more damage. It's a really big constellation. If you be playing Wanderer, oh, we need to level up his weapon. We need to do some more Wanderer testing. If you play Wanderer, you should get a C1, 100%. Will it change the game if you didn't play Wanderer before, and you know now you have Wanderer, now you got a C1? Will it change the game? No, but if you play Wanderer, you should get a C1. Albedo, this is, again, one of the reasons why I wanted to remake this video, is to let you know that Albedo's C1 is kind of good. It's not crazy, but he's getting additional effects for his C1. And his C2 is also very good, but he's getting additional effects for C1 where it basically boosts his defense, which means he's going to be giving a bigger buff. And I know what you're thinking, Albedo doesn't buff. Yes, he does. You can check out my Mondstadt buffs video, but basically he's giving a fairly large damage % buff to Hexen Circle members and to other team members. And it's going to be, he gets more defense and therefore more of a buff from his C1. I do think his C1 is worth picking up. If you think you're going to be using Albedo, keep an eye out for more videos as we talk about more teams that Albedo will be in. But he's looking like a really solid, not like super top meta, but definitely better. And considering it's free, you really might as well get it if you're going to be playing Albedo. Klee is the same sort of thing. Her C1 is free. I have her C1. I can activate it. Let's do it. It's free. You should all be doing it. If you're playing Klee, you should now be picking up C1 Klee. I lost to Klee on the Mondstadt Chronicled Wish way back in the day, so cool, when I was wishing for my first Mona, wild times. But she's getting a big change to her base kit where she won't be nearly as clunky to play. She'll do a bunch more damage, and her C1 keeps the party going and is going to be a pretty big increase for her. And it's getting buffed as well. So yay for Klee, honestly. And as long as they don't gut these changes, which keep an eye out in my future videos, I'll talk about if any of these changes get gutted. But so far they haven't been. So far they haven't been nerfed. So that's exciting for Klee players. Again, Will you all of a sudden start playing Klee because it's so broken? Probably not, but if you've been interested in Klee and wanting to play her, you might actually pick her up because she's less clunky now after the buffs, and then the constellation buffs increase her damage even more. She'll actually be a viable choice, I think. And Klee has a lot of pyro application, so I really feel like she might be a solid choice for a bunch of Stygian onslaughts because application can be very valuable for some of the puzzle mechanics. Next is Hu Tao. Hu Tao is one of the good constellations from the base. I just think if you play Hu Tao, if you're all interested in Hu Tao, you probably already have her C1, but if for whatever reason you don't, better get yourself a C1. Being able to do dash cancels instead of jump cancels just makes her so much more fun to play and does increase her damage potential. So get yourself a C1. She's getting a brand new best in slot team with Yehoda, Farina, and Nefa, most likely, based on the preliminary calcs I've seen. So yay, Hu Tao Wanters be winning so hard, and I love Hu Tao. I've always loved Hu Tao. She was my first limited 5-star that I actually liked and played a lot. So I'm really excited to use her in her new teams and play her more, and I'm really excited. And I'm excited for you all to have her C1 because I made an exception for her C1, whereas I normally don't with constellations, but now I'm totally being justified because now everyone will have it, so yay. And then finally, the biggest change is Mona. Mona is going to be actually like a meta character after the buff. Mona with Moika, mostly Mona with Mualani, is actually going to be really good, and possibly, you know, that top 3 DPS potential moment is going to be Mona. Her base kit extends the omen duration if you have a Hex and Circle member on the team and you do some normal attacks. It also gives an extra vape bonus. Her C1 gives an extra vape bonus, and then her C2 gives EM. So she's got good constellations across the board. And her early constellations are really, really good. So losing to future constellations is still going to remain good. She actually becomes a competent DPS at C6 now. Like, Mona is like a real character all of a sudden, which I just think is fantastic. And not like, one of the things I'm really excited about these buffs is that they're not like so cope that the characters stay way below meta. Some of them actually become really solid. Like Hu Tao might actually be competing up with the more modern DPSs after her buffs, after the new teams, not her buffs, but after her free C1, after the new teams. Mona competing with some of the higher tier supports for certain teams. Like, she's going to be best in slot for Mualani, who's going to be a contender for top 3 DPS. You know, this is exciting stuff. So I'm excited. These are your higher priority characters. I'm going to put Tenari down here just because I don't think his teams are all that good right now. But this is what I think. This is like your screenshot. Let me know who you're going to pick, or who you already did pick, or who you're going to pick in the future. I'm still actually not sure. I've been selecting Mona for C4 for a buff for my Skirk, but now I'm wondering if I should go for Shenhe, or if I should go for maybe I should go for Albedo. I probably have to go for Albedo actually, because I said yes to get Albedo. So let me know your thoughts. Take care. Bye for now.